What's good, everybody? It's your boy Bryce with the Real Squad, and I am here for a quick review of The Ballerina. This is directed by Les Wiseman, and of course, is a spinoff of the John Wick franchise. This is starring Ana de Armas as Eve, Ian McKellen as Winston, and the late great Lance Reddick as the concierge of the Continental. And of course, you have Keanu Reeves as John Wick, making a small but substantial cameo in the movie. Going into this movie, looking up Les Wiseman, the director, he worked on a lot of the Underworld movies, Underworld, Rise of the Lycans, Evolution. So I'm familiar with his work, and just based off the previous 4 or 5, I don't even know how many it is now. I think it's 4 John Wick movies, but he was able to capture the aesthetic very well. I always praise the aesthetic of the Continental hotels, how they look, the concept design of them are always fire. And I felt that he did a great job directing this movie because Ana de Armas was a badass in here. I think her name is Eve in the movie. It is your typical, I don't want to say typical, but kind of typical revenge story. It follows her on a path of bloodshed to avenge her father. As far as Ana de Armas' performance as Eve, I saw a few clips of her performing her own stunts, and I gotta say, she did a fantastic job. It must have been some intense training because she fit the form and she did it excellent. I know she probably had to have a couple of stunt doubles in there, but beyond that, she looked amazing. The action in the movie, top tier. I was worried that they were gonna be able to keep up to that John Wick name, and they absolutely did a fantastic job with the fight choreography and the weapons training. There's a couple of scenes in here, more than a few scenes, where there's a particular battle or action sequence that stands out or makes the movie stand out. And I feel like every single John Wick movie has them, and this one doesn't fall short. It does involve some grenades and a flamethrower. I'll just say that. But those sequences were mind-blowing. I felt like the audience a few times was gonna stand up and start clapping because it was so well done and very entertaining. High octane action, man. I was very impressed by it. Like I said, the action movie is only as good as its action. I feel like it was perfect. Honestly, I have no issues with the action. I know sometimes you have to suspension of disbelief. Sometimes things don't add up, but at the same time, if they're entertaining, it's entertaining. I can't take a point away from that. John Wick's cameo, I feel like it was in there just to show you the difference between him and the ballerina. And I felt like the way they were able to execute that was very well done. Was it necessary? Maybe not, because I feel like the movie, even in the trailer, the parts that I did see, the teaser, the way they explained how the ballerina has to fight, how she has to fight dirty, how she has to cheat because she's smaller, and people will take advantage of that. So she has to kind of go out of her realm and use her surroundings to help her fight. I felt that was enough explanation on telling you the difference between her and John Wick, but they also do something in the movie. Like I said, when it involves action, it just adds to the movie to me. I loved it. Like I said, the story-wise, as far as it being a revenge story, it could have used a little bit more seasoning, but I feel like for what it was in her introduction and her origins, I felt like it was enough. Just like the first John Wick, it wasn't too deep, it wasn't super big, and it does add to the world of the John Wick verse. I think that's what we're calling it now, and there is a little bit more lore there. Does it leave it open for a sequel? I believe so. There is no post-credit scene, so once the movie's over, you can get up and get out of there. I do highly recommend you go check this out in the theater. I believe it's going to do extremely well because of word of mouth, because I'm seeing it technically open at night. It doesn't really open until Friday, but I'm already seeing some headlines kind of praising the movie. So if I was going to give it a rating, I'll go a real deal 8.5. I think that does it enough justice, and it should let you know that this is absolutely a fun time. And I don't think anybody's going to have any major issues with it. I am interested to see what you think. So if you're going to check it out this weekend, if you're checking out the review, come back, give me your rating. If you're not going to check it out because Ana de Armas is not Keanu Reeves, drop a comment. I invite all comments. And definitely hit that like button and follow us and subscribe if you haven't already. We go live once a week, every Wednesday. So make sure you tap in. It has been real. I am Bryce. This is the Real Squad, and I am out. Peace.